Hey everyone! Welcome back to Alex's English Podcast. I'm Alex, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Sophia. Today we're diving into something we all face: how to stay motivated when life gets really tough. Sophia, how are you feeling today?
Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. I'm doing well, but you know what? This topic is so close to my heart because we all go through difficult times. Nobody's life is perfect all the time.
That's so true. Let me start by explaining what we mean by difficult times. These could be losing a job, health problems, relationship breakups, financial stress, family issues, or even global problems like pandemics that affect everyone.
And motivation is that feeling that pushes us to keep going, to work toward our goals, to get out of bed in the morning and face the day. But when life gets hard, motivation can disappear completely, like it just vanished into thin air.
Exactly. It's like motivation is a candle, and difficult times are like strong wind trying to blow it out. Our job is to learn how to protect that flame and keep it burning, even in the storm.
I love that image. And it's totally normal for motivation to drop during hard times. Our brains are designed to focus on immediate problems and threats, not long-term goals and dreams.
Right. So if you're struggling with motivation right now, don't feel bad about yourself. You're not broken or weak or lazy. You're human. And your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do to protect you.
Now let's talk about the psychology behind this. Alex, why does our motivation disappear when things get tough?
Well, when we're stressed or scared, our brain goes into survival mode. It's like having a fire alarm going off in your head all day long. All your mental energy goes to dealing with the immediate problem.
And when you're in survival mode, thinking about future goals feels impossible or even silly. Your brain is saying, forget about your dreams. We need to handle this crisis right now.
Plus, uncertainty makes everything so much harder. When we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or next week, it's really difficult to make plans or feel excited about the future.
There's also a difference between motivation and discipline that I think is really important for everyone to understand.
Tell us more about that, Sophia. I think this is something many people don't realize.
Motivation is that excited, energetic feeling that makes you want to do something. It feels good and easy when it's there. A discipline is doing something even when you don't feel excited about it, even when it's hard or boring.
That's such an important distinction. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. But discipline is like a muscle you can build and use even when you don't feel like it.
Exactly. And during difficult times, we need to rely more on discipline and less on motivation. We can't wait until we feel good to take action, because that feeling might not come for a while.
And it's completely normal to feel sad, angry, frustrated, scared, or confused during hard times. These feelings are not wrong or bad. They're information telling us that something important is happening in our lives.
The key is not to let these feelings completely stop us from moving forward. We can feel the emotions, accept them, and still take small steps toward our goals.
Now let's talk about reframing our perspective. This is one of the most powerful tools we have for staying motivated when things get tough.
What do you mean by reframing, Alex? Can you explain that for our listeners?
Reframing means looking at the same situation from a different angle, like turning a picture around to see it better. Instead of asking, why is this terrible thing happening to me? We can ask, what can I learn from this? Or how might this experience make me stronger?
I remember when I lost my job 2 years ago. At first, I was devastated and angry. I felt like a failure, but later, I realized it was pushing me to find something better that matched my values and interests more closely.
That's a perfect example. And finding meaning in our struggles doesn't mean pretending they're not hard or painful. It means looking for ways that difficult experiences can help us grow as people.
Gratitude is huge too. Even in the darkest times, there are usually some things we can be thankful for. A friend who listens, a roof over our head, food to eat, or even just the fact that we're still fighting and haven't given up.
I started keeping a gratitude journal during my most difficult period last year. Every night, I would write down 3 tiny things I was grateful for that day. Some days it was as simple as I had clean water to drink, or the sun was shining.
And viewing difficulties as temporary is so important. When we're in the middle of a crisis, it feels like it will last forever. Our brain tricks us into thinking the pain will never end. But almost all difficult times do end, even if we can't see how right now.
Time has a way of healing and changing things. What feels impossible today might feel manageable next month. What breaks your heart this year might become a source of strength next year.
Let's talk about goals now. During tough times, our big goals can feel impossible or meaningless. How do we handle that without giving up on our dreams?
This is where we need to get really practical and smart. Big goals need to be broken down into tiny, manageable steps that we can do even when we're struggling and our energy is low.
Yes. Instead of, I want to find a new career, maybe it's, today I will update 1 section of my resume, or I will research 3 companies online, or I will reach out to 1 person in my network.
And it's totally okay to adjust your goals. If your original plan isn't working because of new circumstances, changing the plan doesn't mean you're giving up or failing. It means you're being smart and flexible.
I think about it like driving in bad weather. You don't abandon your destination, but you might drive slower, take a different route, or stop for a while until conditions improve. You still get where you're going, just differently.
Creating short-term wins is so important too. When everything feels overwhelming and impossible, achieving small goals gives us proof that we can still succeed at something.
Absolutely. Last month, when I was feeling really low and unmotivated, I made my goal to clean 1 drawer in my house each day. It sounds silly, but completing that tiny task every day made me feel capable and in control.
That's not silly at all. Small wins build momentum like a snowball rolling down a hill. They remind our brain that we can set goals and achieve them, which makes us more likely to tackle bigger challenges.
And celebrate these small victories. Do a little happy dance, tell a friend, write it down, or treat yourself to something nice. Your brain needs positive reinforcement to keep going.
Now let's talk about support systems. Sophia, why are relationships so crucial during difficult times?
Because we're not meant to handle everything alone. Humans are social creatures. We're designed to live in communities and support each other. We're stronger when we're connected to others who care about us.
But it's important to identify the right people for support. Some people drain your energy even when they mean well. Others lift you up and give you strength and hope.
So true. I have one friend who always makes every conversation about her own problems. After talking to her, I feel worse than before, but I have another friend who really listens and helps me see solutions and possibilities. Guess who I call during tough times?
And don't be afraid to be specific about what kind of support you need. Sometimes you want advice and solutions. Sometimes you just want someone to listen without judgment. And sometimes you need practical help, like money or transportation.
Yes. I learned to say things like, I'm not looking for solutions right now, I just need someone to hear me and understand, or I'm struggling and could use some encouragement and positive words.
Finding community with people going through similar challenges can be incredibly powerful too. Support groups, online communities, or even informal groups of friends facing similar situations.
There's something so healing about realizing you're not the only one struggling with this particular problem. It makes you feel less alone and gives you hope that if others can get through it, so can you.
Now let's discuss daily habits and routines. These are like anchors that keep us stable when everything else feels chaotic and unpredictable.
I love this topic. Routines might sound boring to some people, but they're actually lifesavers during difficult times. When everything feels out of control, having some predictable parts of your day creates stability and peace.
Morning routines are especially powerful because how you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. It doesn't have to be complicated or take hours. Even 10 minutes of intentional morning time can make a huge difference.
My morning routine is simple but effective. I wake up, drink a glass of water, do 5 minutes of stretching, and write down my main goal for the day. It takes less than 15 minutes, but it makes me feel centered and ready to face whatever comes.
And evening routines help us process the day and prepare for rest. This might include reading something positive, listening to gentle music, taking a warm bath, or reflecting on what went well during the day.
The key is consistency, not perfection. Even if you don't feel like doing your routine, do it anyway. Even if you do it badly or quickly, still do it. Your future self will thank you.
Small, non-negotiable daily actions are powerful too. These are tiny things you commit to doing every single day, no matter what happens. Maybe it's making your bed, taking vitamins, walking for 10 minutes, or writing one sentence in a journal.
These actions become proof to yourself that you can keep promises to yourself even during hard times. That builds self-trust and confidence, which are essential for motivation.
Let's talk about energy management now. This is something I wish I had understood earlier in my life, and I think it could help a lot of our listeners.
What do you mean by energy management, Alex?
Well, during difficult times, our mental and physical energy is limited and precious. We need to be strategic about how we use it. Some activities and people give us energy, and some things drain it completely.
That's so important. I used to think I had to say yes to everything and help everyone, even when I was struggling myself. But that just made me more exhausted and less able to handle my own problems.
Exactly. Self-care isn't selfish during difficult times. It's essential for survival and recovery. You can't pour water from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself gives you the strength to deal with challenges and help others.
And sleep. Oh my goodness, sleep is so important, but often the first thing we sacrifice when stressed. When I'm well rested, problems that seemed huge and impossible the night before suddenly feel manageable and solvable.
Sleep is like a reset button for your brain and emotions. It helps you process difficult emotions, consolidate memories, and approach problems with fresh perspective and energy.
Exercise helps too, even when you don't feel like moving your body. I'm not talking about intense workouts at the gym. Even a 10-minute walk around the block can shift your mood and energy dramatically.
And nutrition. When we're stressed, we often eat too much junk food for comfort or forget to eat completely because we're so focused on our problems. But our brain needs good fuel to think clearly and stay motivated.
Now let's discuss finding inspiration and hope when everything feels dark. Alex, where do you look for motivation when your own well seems empty?
Great question. I love reading stories about people who overcame big challenges similar to mine. It reminds me that difficult times don't last forever, and that humans are incredibly resilient and capable of amazing things.
Yes, there are so many amazing stories of people who face terrible situations, poverty, illness, war, loss, and not only survived, but thrived and helped others. These stories give me hope that I can get through my problems too.
Books, podcasts, movies, and documentaries can be powerful sources of inspiration, but choose carefully. Some content might make you feel worse during difficult times, so pick things that uplift and encourage you.
I also like to remind myself of my why. The deep reason behind my goals and dreams. When I remember why something is important to me, why it matters for my life and the people I love, it's easier to keep going even when it's hard.
Creating visual reminders can help too. Some people make vision boards with pictures of their goals. Others write motivational quotes on their bathroom mirror or keep photos of their dreams on their phone as wallpaper.
The key is finding what works for you personally. What inspires your friend or your family member might not inspire you, and that's totally okay. We're all different.
Let's get into some practical coping strategies now. These are tools you can use immediately when motivation drops and everything feels too difficult.
One technique I absolutely love is the 5-minute rule. When I don't want to do something important, I tell myself I only have to do it for 5 minutes. Usually, starting is the hardest part of any task.
That's brilliant. Often, once you start, you realize the task isn't as bad as you thought, and you keep going naturally. But even if you only do 5 minutes, that's still progress and better than doing nothing.
For anxiety and fear, I use breathing exercises. When I feel overwhelmed by worry or panic, I take 10 slow, deep breaths, counting each one. It's simple, but it really works to calm my nervous system and clear my mind.
Time management becomes even more important during difficult times. When you're struggling, you need to focus on what's truly essential and let go of less important things that drain your energy.
I make lists with 3 categories: must do today, should do this week, and can wait until later. This helps me focus on what really matters when my energy is low and I can't do everything.
And practical planning. Sometimes motivation drops because we feel completely out of control. Making concrete plans for handling specific problems can restore some sense of control and hope for the future.
Financial planning is especially important during tough times. Even small steps like creating a simple budget, researching available resources, or asking friends for advice can reduce anxiety and increase motivation.
Now, here's something beautiful about human nature. Difficult times actually teach us things and make us stronger in ways we never expected. Sophia, what have you learned from your hardest moments?
Oh, wow, that's a deep question. I've learned that I'm much stronger and more capable than I thought I was. I've also learned to ask for help without feeling ashamed, which used to be really hard for me.
I've learned that problems are often not as bad as they seem in my imagination. My mind makes up scary stories about what might happen, but reality is usually more manageable than my fears.
And I've discovered strengths and abilities I didn't know I had. During my difficult period, I learned to be more creative with solutions, more patient with uncertainty, and more compassionate with myself and others.
Keeping a journal during difficult times is really valuable for this reason. You can look back later and see how much you've grown, what you've overcome, and what strategies worked best for you.
Yes, and documenting lessons learned helps you handle future challenges better. You build a personal toolkit of strategies and insights that work specifically for your personality and situation.
Resilience is like a muscle in your body. Every time you get through something difficult, you get stronger and more confident for the next challenge that comes your way.
And sometimes our biggest struggles lead us to our greatest purposes in life. Many people find their life's calling through overcoming adversity and then helping others with similar problems.
That's so true. I know someone who struggled with addiction for years, lost everything, and felt completely hopeless. After getting clean and rebuilding her life, she became a counselor helping others with similar problems. Her pain became her purpose and her gift to the world.
Now let's give our listeners some practical tools they can start using today. What's the first thing someone should do if they're feeling unmotivated and stuck?
Start with something tiny that you know you can accomplish. Make your bed, wash one dish, send one text message, or walk to the end of your street. The goal is just to prove to yourself that you can still do things.
And be gentle with yourself. Don't add guilt and self-criticism to your existing problems. Treat yourself like you would treat a good friend who was going through the same situation.
Create one simple routine that gives structure to your day. Maybe it's drinking coffee while watching the sunrise, or taking a shower and getting dressed, even if you're not going anywhere special.
Connect with one person who makes you feel better about yourself. This could be a phone call, a text message, or even just looking at photos of people you love. Human connection is medicine for the soul.
And remember that progress isn't always linear. Some days will be better than others, and that's normal and okay. Don't judge your entire journey based on one bad day or one difficult week.
Focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot control. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond and what actions you take.
As we start to wrap up, let's give our listeners some final thoughts and encouragement, because I know some people listening might be going through really tough times right now.